What's up guys, it's Mike. Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, I got the M4 GT4 build, and I'm gonna show you some more updates that I made to it. Also gonna finally turn the boost up on this thing. Before it was just previously running wastegate only, and you know, that's okay for engine braking, but you know, she's broken in now, so it's time to finally turn it up on the dyno. I also have a B58 Gen 1 that has my turbo kit on it, and I'm gonna go out and make some sound clips for you guys. And you can get an idea of what a B58 sounds like with an equal length turbo kit. It sounds really well. And one last thing, at the end of the video, I'm gonna show you guys an E92 that I have here that I'm gonna be putting an S85 into, but I'm not putting the engine in the front. I'm actually gonna be putting it in the back and mid-engine swapping it. So looking forward to that. Let's get started. All right guys, car's back up on the lift. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you some changes that I made real quick. So in the last video, I was talking about recirculating the wastegate. So here's how I did that. So we got, you know, normal V-bend out into a wastegate exit tube. And then this is how I recirculated it right here. And I did drive this thing and test it. There was no boost creep or any issues with boost control. And it was way, way quieter. And the cool thing is, if I do go to a racetrack that doesn't have any kind of sound limit, I made a cap for this end. And I also have the original open dump, which goes, I don't know, right about to here. And I could put that back on and have a screamer pipe for events like Button Willow or whatnot. But this setup is required to be recirculated for Laguna Seca or any track that has sound limits. Other than that, I did find, you know, one other leak coming out of the gearbox here. These are actually spray nozzles that cool each gear set. And I have a gear oil pump in there that I fire up as soon as the oil gets hot. And I found this fitting right here had a crack right at the flare. So I replaced this fitting and there's no more leak. So I fixed that. That was pretty annoying. It would, you know, start to drip gear oil down here. And I don't have the under trays on here now. There's actually a smooth tray that I made, but it would just kind of get all over everything. And some of it would hit the exhaust and it would smell. So got that all fixed. Other than that, this thing's ready to dyno, and let's go turn the boost up. Well, she's pretty loud, even at idle. Yeah, this thing just sounds insane. Check it out. So I'm gonna sit here and let it warm up for a little bit and go ahead and start hooking the dyno up. All right guys, so she's all ready to go on the dyno. I'm gonna go ahead and get it jacked up, get the wheels off, get the hubs on, fire the dyno up, and then I'm gonna load the new map from Steven at Wedge. And I'm super, super excited to see what the graph looks like. And this will be 10,000 RPM with, I think, about 3 or 4 more PSI over wastegate. It should hit around 900 flywheel horsepower. I'm guessing about 700 wheel, something like that. But let's get it all hooked up and let's find out. All right guys, so I'm gonna put the hub on. And this is a pretty cool design by Magic Motorsport. So these actually slide. Get you a closer view. If you have a different bolt pattern, these can actually slide. And their hub dyno comes with a 5-bolt and a 4-bolt pattern. Alrighty, this hub's all on. So I need to slide this bar out real quick here. And this is just an anti-torque bar that keeps the dyno from potentially rotating. You need a lot of horsepower to do it, but it's just here for safety. And yeah, gonna go do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll fire this thing back up. All right guys, so I got the hubs hooked up, and what I like to do is put it in second gear and just make sure there's no weird movement. And sure as heck, check it out, this side is still wobbling, and actually jacked it up a tiny bit, and just so you can see it, but check it out. You can see that wheel jumping up and down a little bit. You can almost see what I'm talking about there. So I'm gonna have to disassemble this hub over here and try and figure out how to get it straight. All right guys, so I'm getting ready to take this hub apart, and I want to show you exactly what it's doing before I pull the slip collar out, so you can just see what's going on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and spin it over. So this hub itself is actually wobbling like this, and it's about 5 thousandths out. Now when you have the hub bolted to here, that 5 thousandths ends up being a lot more by the time it reaches here. And that's what's making the car jump around and vibrate so bad on this dyno. So I'm gonna get these bolts out of here, try and reposition this collar, and hopefully I can get it within about 1 or 2 thousandths, or at least a little bit better than it is, because yeah, right now I'm worried it's gonna damage something in the drivetrain or in the engine. All right guys, I got it closer. What I ended up doing was taking this slip collar out, reclocking it, and then I actually tightened all the bolts as evenly as I could, and then I watched the dial indicator, and I would just start tightening either side and kept it square as I was rotating it. This took me like 45 minutes, an hour, I'd say. So definitely sucks, kind of a waste of time, but I mean, what are you gonna do? I can't use the dyno unless I get this figured out. But I got it within about 2 thousandths of an inch. So, definitely a lot closer than it was. Not perfect, but we'll give 2 thousandths a try and kind of see what happens. And this dyno manufacturer, they're actually going to send me a new slip collar, and this is actually called a clamp bush is the actual name of it, but they're going to send me a new clamp that's actually a little bit deeper and it holds more torque. I believe this one holds around 1600 Newton meter. The one that they're going to send me holds like 3000 Newton meters or something like that. So I have a feeling the new clamp hopefully keep everything straighter, square, and within tolerance. But anyways, let's get this thing hooked back up to the car and get some dyno pulls. All right guys, so I went ahead and fired it up, ran it in second gear, and it's a lot better. There's still a little bit of a wobble, but it is way better than it was before. So I'm just gonna go ahead and run it like this. Don't have much of a choice. I really need to dyno this car to get it done and dialed in. So went ahead and fired up the software. So I'm gonna open up the dyno right now. Go into database, and here's the GT4 build already all in here. Before I launch a new test, I need to load the new map from Steven. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now, and let's get some dyno pulls done. All right, it's time to do a flash. All right guys, flash was a success, so it's time to let her rip on the dyno. All right guys, dyno's all set up, so let's fire this thing up and let her warm up for a little bit. right, guys, super excited to see what she made. This thing spit out a huge flame, and I mean, it was loud, so sorry in advance if any of my neighbors heard that. They probably didn't like it, but let's see what it made. All right, so first off, the graph looks really good. Let's see what peak is. 901 engine horsepower, 750 wheel. Now, this is only on 25 pounds of boost. I am shocked right now how much power this thing is making. And almost 600 foot-pounds of torque. Now, to be honest, I know this engine's a 2.4 and I said it's not gonna make any torque. I can't believe how much torque it's making. A 600 foot-pounds on 25 pounds of boost is really awesome. And you have the ability to go to 10,000 RPM. I cannot wait to get this thing on the track, guys. Like, I am just super excited. So what I'm going to do though, is I'm probably going to bring the boost in a little bit different, and let me bring the torque down to the correct crossover really quick. Let me turn engine power off, power lost. All right, so now we just have wheel horsepower. So let me bring the torque down. Ideally, you want it to cross over at 52. I mean, that's gonna be really close right there. So what I would like to do with this torque curve, a little less boost in this area. I'd really like 550 torque. I really don't need much more than that. So we're gonna set up the boost so it comes in a little bit softer and then probably ramp it up. So, you know, I just checked out the log. It's like 25, 26 pounds right here, and then it starts to taper down a little bit. It means we need more duty cycle up top. So let's say we have 25 or 24 pounds here. Then we're gonna go, you know, 25, 26, 27. We'll bring the boost up to flatten this torque curve, and then you're gonna see the horsepower just keep going all the way to 10,000 RPM. So this run, I didn't quite make it to 10,000, I made it to 9,500. And there's a little bit of a drop off, and again, that's because boost is tapering down. We need more duty cycle. As the back pressure increases, we need to add duty. It's only 35% duty cycle on the wastegate. But yeah, I'm super, super excited, and cannot wait to get this thing on the track and actually experience this much horsepower and more manageable torque. That's the biggest reason why this engine was built, was to be able to manage torque. With the 3-liter engine and this turbo, I was making 750 foot-pounds of torque, and it's really hard to keep the tires from spinning right off of corner exits. So, like I said, 550 foot-pounds, maybe 600, that's gonna be perfect. That's gonna be manageable on the track. So, alrighty, I'm gonna show some driving clips real quick on this thing, so you guys can hear it. And then after that, we're gonna get some B58 sound clips for you. All right, guys, so now that we got some M4 GT4 sound clips for you guys, now we're gonna go ahead and jump into the B58. And like I said before, this has the 4N equal length EFR 8474 turbo kit on it, and also a custom 3.5 straight pipe that I made, basically goes turbo back all the way out to the rear. And for a B58, it sounds incredibly good. Almost has that RB26 note, but I'll go ahead and let you guys be the judge on that. So we go and get a cold start, and we'll get some outside sound clips as well and go from there. All right guys, so some quick info on this thing here. It's running about 20 pounds of boost. It's only on 91 octane, and you know, that's kind of the safe limit for a B58, especially being 11-to-1 compression. So it's not making a ton of power. It's on the dyno made right around 500 wheel horsepower. But today you'll just get an idea of how good it sounds. So I'll go ahead and put the camera on here in a minute, and this is actually where I like to put the microphone up here, and it catches exhaust note pretty well inside the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and drive out to the spot here and get you guys some good sound clips. All right guys, so back at the shop now, and I have one last thing I want to show you on today's video, and that's the S85 V10 swap that I'm getting ready to start doing. And I'm super pumped for this one. It's going to be mid-engine mounted in the back of an E92. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the donor car right now. All right guys, so this is the E92 donor car that I will be swapping a S85 V10 into, but it's not going in the front. It is going to be mid-engine mounted about this location right here. So funny thing about this car is there's nothing really special about it. It's just a 2009 328i, and I bought it on Facebook Marketplace for 1,100 bucks, was told the engine was blown, and it ended up just being a starter. So just for the heck of it, I figured why not see if I can get it running. And yeah, I'll just start it for you guys so you can hear it. It's got some valve train noise and a bunch of codes, but yeah, I'll go ahead and fire it up for you real quick. Yeah, this thing has definitely a stuck hydraulic lifter or something in the valve train. Could be loose Vanos gears. There's these bolts that go on the back of the actual sprockets that could be loose, but yeah, she's pretty noisy. You can hear it. Anyways, it's not gonna matter much. This motor's gonna come out and yeah, put a V10 in the back. All right guys, so I lifted her up on the lift here a little bit, and I'm just gonna give you a rough idea of where the engine's gonna be sitting underneath here. And that's just about the location. Now, I'm gonna be pulling the fuel tanks out, cutting into the unibody, and then building off of the rear subframe. All that's gonna be tied into a custom roll cage that's gonna go all the way to the front, and it's gonna be a 6-point cage that is NASA spec, so I can run into track events and stuff like that. I'm gonna start a dedicated video series on this car, step by step, from pulling the interior out, to designing the rear subframe, to bolting the transaxle, engine block in, and everything. And I'm super, super excited for this thing. And really quick, I'll go ahead and show you guys the crankshafts I just got in. This project is really close to getting started, but before I can really start on this thing, I have Jake's car I have to get built, and another customer's M3 that I'm doing a 2.6 swap on. So as soon as you guys start seeing videos of those cars and they get done, then I'm gonna be jumping on the V10 mid-engine swap. So I'll take you over to the engine room real quick and show you the crankshafts. All right guys, so here's a quick sneak peek of the billet crank that's going into the 4N S85 13,000 RPM build. And you'll notice there's two of them, so I'm actually building two engines at once. And some quick specs on this crank here is a 61mm stroke, and it's going to bring the factory 5-liter displacement down to a 4.05 liter. So if you run the calculations on this stroke and the rod ratio, it will support 13,000 RPM. But once I get close to that mark, I'm gonna kind of take a look at valve train, dyno graph. We'll be able to tell if the top end's gonna make it that far. Worst case, I'm gonna limit it to 12,000 or 12,500 because otherwise I might have to change valve springs more frequently than I want to, and reliability will go down. So anyways, here's a nice look at the crankshaft, and go ahead and turn it over for you real quick so you guys can see it. And one thing you'll notice is how much more overlap there is on this crank. And overlap is going to be the main bearing journal to the rod journal, and that is like over 30%. So the more rod to main journal overlap you have, the stronger the crankshaft is, the less it's going to want to twist. So that's why a D-stroker build is going to rev out a lot higher than if you were to go with a stroker build. There's also other factors, rod angle, piston speed, other things that are going to affect that. But yeah, I just want to show you guys this crankshaft real quick, and I'm super pumped to get this engine built and fired up. All right guys, well that pretty much wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Got a lot of cool projects coming up, and I really appreciate your guys' support on everything. Take it easy and see you next time.